Welcome to the Audiobook Lovin Podcast, discussing all things audiobooks with the authors that write the stories and the narrators that perform them. Brought to you by Viviana, Enchantress of Books.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to Season 4, Episode 17 of the Audiobook Lovin Podcast. Today, I am chatting with author Krista Sandor and narrator Monica King. Welcome, ladies, to the first episode of 2023.
Yay! Hello!
Awesome. And also our first threesome. So, woohoo! Anyways.
We're starting out really hot. That's a good sign.
Hey, not bad for romance. Come on, right? You were always saying we want more girl on girl. I'm like, okay, fine, here we go. Anyway. We've been talking a little bit ahead of time before officially recording, but we're going to have so much fun. I know it's. Why don't we start, Krista, with you? Tell us a little bit about yourself, how long you've been writing, and how you got started.
Sure. So my journey started in 2015 in sort of a strange way. In August of 2015, I was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis. So it was really scary. We didn't know what the rest of my life was going to look like at the time. And I told a few very close friends. I just wasn't even sure what to say. And my good friend sent me the book Man Whore by Katie Evans. And I remember wondering why you would send someone a book called Man Whore after they've been diagnosed with a disease that has like no cure. So I asked him, like, what's going on with this? I mean, are you like, do you have a little bit too much wine? And she's like, no, this is what you need. This is exactly what you need. And I was like, all right. And it totally was 100% happily ever after, escaped into romance. You know, those were the times where either reading or audiobooks, because with MS, sometimes, at least in the beginning, in those years, my vision was a little whirly. So audiobooks, they became my safe place. So it was Katie Evans, Christina Lauren, Sylvia Day. I mean, I could just go on. Corin Michaels, like these people, Kate Canterbury, they became my escape. I would listen to the books on the way to get MRIs or doctor's appointments. And there were a lot in the beginning. So romance truly became my safe space. And then a year after my diagnosis, we were up in the mountains and I was talking to my husband and I said, you know what, I think I might try to write something. You know, my parents, God bless them, paid for an English major at University of Miami. So I'm like, I'm going to make them so happy and I'm going to use that. And I am going to write a book. And so and we weren't even sure. I didn't even know. I wasn't even sure what was going to happen. So I wrote my first book on an iPad with a little computer. My kids were smaller while my kids were in like the YMCA daycare. I got 2 hours a day. So that is how I wrote my first book. Came out in 2018. And then I just became part of this community that was so welcoming, so kind, so helpful. And today, I think we're up to like 22 books. 20. Isn't that funny? I can't even count. But and it has truly transformed my life. I'm doing it different. I was a teacher. I'm not teaching anymore. I write full time. And it's an honor to be a part of this community, to meet people like you, to meet people like Monica. I mean, it's just, these are my best friends. This has become my life and my support. And now I'm a writer who lives with MS. I'm not a person dealing with MS. It completely, it transformed everything for me. I mean, naughty books. And what's amazing is how many people, and I share this openly, this is in every book I write, how many people actually contact me who have MS or who are going through like all the diagnosis to try to see if they have MS. And it's just, that's probably one of the best parts. Is connecting with people, sharing this story. Like, this doesn't define you. You know, you decide what defines you. So that was my intro into romance.
Nice. And essentially also creating a form of community within your own that love your books. It's almost like a little sub community there that
Yes.
get to know you better, and that you're giving us, people hope, and that there's stuff afterwards and we can escape, which is one of the reasons why I love authors and romance. We get to escape and have to worry about real life.
Well, you don't, right? You don't have to have like it doesn't even have to be some monumental thing. I mean, we all have stuff that, right? We all need like just that little reprieve can do so much, right? Like, and then when you get to also connect with people, I mean, it's like multi levels. I think about all the money, like whenever I'm on Etsy and I'm buying like jewelry or cute things, I just tell my husband, like, think about all the money we saved on the therapy I would have had.
I think a lot of people in our community feel that way as well. It's like, it's not a habit or a bad thing. It's called saving money on therapy.
Right. I mean, I would spend it anyway, but like, all kidding aside, like, I truly, these are my friends. This is my world. Like, even, it's books, but it's also life. It's kids. And that's what, like, my reader group, same thing. Share about the dogs, share about theirs. I mean, my alpha readers and my beta readers, I mean, these are true friends now, true people that I can say, what do you think of this? Oh no, that character wouldn't do that. I mean, it has just become, it's a business, but it's almost like a family business, because that's how everyone kind of cares about each other. Yeah, no, I can't say enough. I truly can't.
Yeah. And now we have Monica joining the family, right?
Oh, I love Krista's story, and I'm so happy that you found me. We found each other. It's funny. I started acting when I was little because I we didn't have the best childhood, and my sister would escape by watching television. That was her, what did you call it? A reprieve, I guess, from the tough stuff. And so I decided I wanted to be an actor. And so I did all the things, and I moved to Los Angeles, and I was getting cast in roles that were like, I was always the drug dealer. And I was like, this isn't the positive uplift. And then one time I was in a role where I was like this raging bitch, to the point that when I went to the screening and I was introduced to people, they didn't realize that I was the star of the film, because they were like, oh, but you were so mean. And I'm like, no, I'm really nice. And the reason I want to do this is to make people happy, not to scare them. So it was great when I found audiobooks to have a way that I can bring these stories to life. Exactly what you're talking about, Krista, giving someone a break and uplifting them. Romance is just so happily ever. I love the happily ever afters. Yes. So yeah, I was acting in LA, and somebody heard me imitating my mom. It was a New York accent. I asked if I could. I don't even think you knew that, Krista, when you had your Brooklyn grand.
No, is that who you used for the grandparents in the Bergen books?
Technically, it is. So my mom is from Yonkers in the Bronx area. I always get them confused. My dad's from the Bronx. My mom's from Yonkers. My dad's new wife is from Brooklyn. And I think you said she's from Brooklyn. So I modeled it after my dad's new wife.
Oh my gosh. How did I not know that?
So I was at this party making fun of my mom, and this writer came up to me, and she's like, oh my God, I've been through so many auditions and nobody can do that voice. Can you narrate my audiobook? And I'm an actress. I'm like, yes, I totally can. I had never sat in front of a microphone. So, many, many coaches later is when I met Krista.
Oh, and so when I heard Monica's voice, this was when I was first dipping my toe into audio. This is for the Bergen Brothers books. And I was, just listening, and, you have to feel like, so if you are a true audiobook like lover, what that voice can do, right? Like, there's some books that I used to, Catherine Kelgren, I think she passed a few years ago. Oh my God. I would read anything, and this is before I was Krista, the writer. This was when I was Krista, just going through all sorts of audiobooks, and an audiobook every couple days, just reading, voracious. So anyways, I knew what I wanted. When it came time for me, I knew what I wanted. I knew what I had to feel in my heart. It's like a gut thing too, right? And I was listening, and then I put on Monica's, and I was sitting at my kitchen table, and I was just like, I want this woman. I want a little Monica to sit on my shoulder and be like, and Krista decided to choose the skim milk at Starbucks. Like, I just wanted her. I wanted her voice. I wanted her in my head. And I remember my husband was mowing the lawn and I grabbed my laptop and I start like running out toward him. And he thinks like something is really wrong. And he's like, are you okay? What something happened to the computer? I'm like, no, listen to this woman speak. And he's just like, oh my God. But he too. So we stopped. He's like, oh yeah, that's good. So anyway,
by the way, I'm gonna save that portion of this podcast and put it on my phone so I can listen to it every day. I love it. I get chills. I'm like, oh my gosh.
It was such a moment. I mean, it was just such a, I don't know. Everything came together. And I was like, we have to get this woman. I'm like, do you have a kidney you can sell? Because we have to do whatever we can to get this woman daily. So, anyway,
do you know what's so funny is I love that story so much. And the first book that I narrated for this woman, she gave me notes. We went back and forth for 3 months before I actually told her that I couldn't narrate the book for her, because she would give me notes every like 30 seconds to a minute about how my voice changed an octave, or I took a breath, or I didn't do the same character voice. And that is why I'm still to this day super paranoid. Yeah, it was a very hard start for me.
Oh my gosh.
That. I didn't know how audiobooks worked. Coming from a theater and a stage and a camera background, you work with a director and you do retakes. So I thought it was normal. And then someone said to me, no, that's not how this works. So when I do meet independent authors, we have that first conversation. I say, okay, in the first 15 minutes, we discuss everything you want. And then after that, you just give me free rein.
That's what I said. You can do anything you want. You could have put a vampire in that book. I'd be like, okay.
But I'll still call Krista and be like, does this sound okay? What do you think about this?
Well, I think that's what's great about building the relationship between the narrator and the author. It used to be that you guys would never have met. You guys would have never had that opportunity to exchange the notes. Production companies to this day sometimes cock block you from one another, and it shouldn't really be that way. We want the authors to have that relationship with the narrators as far as providing with the, hey, he has a Russian accent. So you don't find out that he has a Russian accent comes chapter 30, 30, and you're going, bloody hell, I've been giving him a British or no accent at all. And now he's like, okay, got it. But people do sometimes, it just wasn't the norm. So the fact that you guys were doing it from the beginning of the relationship of you guys being author narrator is great.
Yeah, well, I have to get, if Monica ever needs a kidney, I have to give her one of mine after what she had to go through with all the nanny books.
The first two were fine.
I know, right? And then I just decided, so these nanny books are such fun, and they're long, and you just get, she just brings you right into it. But there are accents, there are kids, there are 4 kids by the end of this series, 2 boys, 2 girls. We've got the Eastern European accent. We've got the British boxer who also has like a Welsh trainer. Like, honestly, like, you deserve an award. They should just put an audience like award for like, did you survive narrating for Krista Sandor? You win.
Yeah.
Right? But just
I felt like I was on a reality show. What were those shows called when it was like, how much is this person going to take before they explode?
Before they're like, no, this can't be real. Where are the cameras?
Because I remember our first conversation, I was like, I'm really not, I don't like voicing kids. And also, I definitely don't like doing accents. I think you probably remember that, Krista, right? And then I'm reading book 4, which is 20 plus hours. These are part of my questions. Like, I don't know how you did it. Like, are you an outliner or a pantser? I learned this in Vivi's last podcast with someone. A pantser. How do you write a book that long and keep it all together in your head?
I don't know. Wine and a lot of sticky notes, mostly.
Wine for me, I forget where my house is. but
this is not tequila. That's a different story.
I mean, I'm just so impressed by all of it. But book 4, I remember calling you and be like, wait, but you know that I don't know how to do these accents. And you're like, there's accents?
I forgot. Remember, I forgot. There were like 4 musicians. They were from like everywhere, right?
Wait, my favorite was from Bahrain.
Yes.
I was like, what? I have to look up, where's Bahrain? What is what? I didn't do that one.
I know. You know what? Like, I think it's so funny because when you're just like in the moment and you're writing these books and you hear it in your head, but it might not be, I don't know. It's sort of like when I heard you narrate the Bergen Brothers series and you did the grandparents and those New York accents were so good. That's what was in my head, but I couldn't translate it. So that's
awesome.
Right. So I just remember because I was listening, I was doing, like the audio check and I was taking a walk. I was like, oh my gosh. I'm like, all right, well, my neighbors already probably worry about me a little bit, but it was just amazing for you to take those written down words and breathe life into them. That's what I'm always amazed at with your work is how you do that and how I make it so hard for you to do
I
it.
will turn that around and say that it's Krista's writing too. And certain writers are so much, the way that I read a book and I prep it, which means like I'm a slow reader and I'll take, I actually, it's the end of the year and everybody's writing on social media how many books they narrated this year. And I'm like, I'm really slow, but it's because I read the book and I let it, like a movie, develops in my head. And the more detail that the author gives on the characters, the more I can see them. And so I love taking, like, I can hear the voices before I even start.
Wow.
And then I get in there and it's like, it just unfolds. So it's a huge tribute to your writing. I asked you for, okay, so I asked Krista, and I actually, for most of my work, 80% of my work, I do not get to talk to the authors. So my relationship with Krista is very special to me because I'm like, I need to know. So I usually approach her with a ton of questions before I get started. And I asked you who each of the female protagonists, who you heard or who you thought of.
Oh, yeah.
And you gave me people's names and they were all Peloton instructors.
Yes.
But I didn't use any of them. That's the first time I totally went off script, but I just heard them in my head.
No, they were perfect. I know I was doing a lot of Peloton at that time, I guess.
Well, that was definitely how I found Raz, your Ben.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. They've got some great, like, let me tell you, they've got some great teachers, but it's so fun. I always feel bad. I'm like, gosh, maybe I should like contact them during like Instagram or something like, hi, by the way, your voice is what drove me to write a book. So, yeah.
Well, authors find their inspiration in so many different ways. And in fact, there's a couple of authors that purposely do the whole like, let's see if they can do this accent. And they slide it on in just, to see if they, like, can they do it? I know Scott Brooks has 1 or 2 authors that does that, like just to basically fuck with him. See, hey, figure this out. Great. And, as a pro, you guys figure it out and you do it. But it's great that you guys have that relationship and able to, have a dialogue and provide them with examples, because there are so many characters in your books. And it's one thing when they have like book 1, 2, and 3 and you're done. But when there's more than that, and even if it's just one book, when they're all sitting in the same room because for whatever reason, they're having a dinner party.
Yeah.
And they're all talkers and they all have different things. And for the narrative to be able to keep that up and not confuse the listener as to whom is talking when is like golden.
It really is, especially in that last nanny book, The Nanny and the Heartthrob. That's when you have like all the couples, all the kids, and that's what the readers really like. That they, at least in my books, they like to see, and the listeners too, they like to hear or read about, oh, this couple's doing this, or oh, look, they popped in, or oh, I know that. So, but that last book, I mean, that was a lot of people. It was 178,000 words. It was like 3 books in one. And
you like them long. We know you like them long.
We like them long and hard. So
okay, I'm going to come to the conference. I'm going to need a hotel room and martini service.
Right? And like, just like a guy, just like a handsome guy that's just like there to like get
serve
you
me.
Right. Really hot butler, just like waiting.
I have questions, Krista.
Yeah.
How do you pick your covers?
Oh, I work with Wander Aguiar. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right.
You are.
Mm-hmm. He is amazing.
What comes first, the cover or the guy, the book, the character?
You know what? So with these books, it goes back and forth. So with the nanny books, the nanny books, I'm sorry. Wander's photos are on the spin-offs. The nanny book photos are Eric McKinney. So I found when I was thinking about, so anyways, The Nanny and the Nerd all came about a couple years ago after I went to Romance Author Mastermind. And I went to this talk on like universal fantasies and what people want. And I just started thinking about nanny books and kind of how fun those are, because the power dynamic, and then usually it's sort of that like alpha, that hard on the outside, but then you crack him open and he's all gooey. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do these books. And then I found this picture of Eric McKinney. I found the cover, which is just this handsome man with glasses. I'm like, there we go. So that is how that one started. But sometimes like I'll just see a photo and I'll say, oh my gosh, like now that I'm doing the spin-off books from all these nannies, I have to think of the kids as adults. And I just saw 2 of Wander's photos. I'm like, those are the 2 boys. So, I mean, it can go either way. I'm finding that it's way more easier to find the model, to decide on that early, and then write the book, because then you're not like, okay, well, I need a blonde guy with hazel eyes, with a touch of gold, like whatever we do to these people, with a tiny little scar above his left eyebrow, but not too far to the right. I mean, so that I've gotten a little bit smarter as I've been writing.
Thank you, though, because as a reader and a listener, when the cover model has jet black hair and in the book he has blonde,
oh,
like,
I know.
dude. Is either go get a graphic designer or hire the right model.
Right. No, for real, because that's what you're selling. You're selling that fantasy, that escape. So yeah, no, and let me tell you, that is truly one of the hardest parts of my job, is looking at very handsome men all day. I tell my husband, I'm like, listen, I am working.
Yeah. It's as someone that has done graphic design work as well as book covers, that's one of the things I've said to people. I'm like, it's really hard looking at all these sexy guys, but people don't really understand the amount of time and the rabbit hole that you go down when it comes down to finding these images. And you're going, no, I said sexy cowboy, not cowboy who thinks he's sexy wearing white feathers.
Right. I mean, it's funny that you say that, because like casting agents for models. I wonder if you just stop. It's not so much like, oh, she's hot or he's handsome. It's like, okay, well, no, that's not exactly the look. Like it's harder than you think.
Yeah. Well, in the cover of the Nanny and the Nerd, he actually looks like he's a little like looking at you and smirking, like, oh, the things I'm gonna do to you later. And so there's something about that look that it's like, yes, that's book cover versus just like staring off into La La Land.
That is what Monica's voice. So I'm not sure. I I think it was Maya Rudolph. She was on a talk show and she was talking about how I can't remember the character she voiced, but she said she always had to talk like she had a sexy secret. It's a sexy secret and nobody knows but me. And I'm like, okay, that's what covers need to be. Sexy secret, right? Just that little bit of, and like Monica's voice, that, that sexy secret, that kind of bringing you along on this wild ride. I mean, that's what you're trying to capture with the sound, with the image.
Sweet.
Right, Monica, what other questions you got?
Well, I would just like to request the model from the Sebastian Guarantee to be my host in the Denver conference.
Oh, yeah, right.
He's yeah, don't tell my husband. Shh.
No, it all stays between us. I know it is, but he was right. He is the sexy secret face. Even Heartthrob, that smile that just like makes you all tingly inside. Like I mean, photographers, narrators, you guys have a job because you have to convey that, right?
That is true. And for the listeners that are going, what the heck are they talking about? A convention and martinis in Denver? It's there is this there's a convention happening March 30th through April 2nd titled Readers Take Denver. And it is also a charity event of sorts. It's a 4-day filled with, there's 2 signings, there's a bunch of panels, including one with murderous women and martinis and murderous men and martinis. So we'll get drinks there. Anyways, so it's a 4-day. Yeah. So when you mentioned martinis, I was like, oh, I can't wait to tell her. It's a 4-day event. The website is www.readerstakedenver.com. And all the information is there. You guys, Chris is going to be there. Monica, you're going, right? On air. I'm telling you to commit.
Now that I know all these perks I'm getting from Krista for narrating the
Danny and the Heartthrob, for real. I might as well just like walk around with like a box of chocolate behind you, a little fan. No, but this convention, this is enormous. Yeah. I mean, I read, like, I'm fangirling hard over all the people that are going to be there. I mean, I'm looking at all the names right now and I'm like, oh my, I mean, this is going to be an epic convention for sure.
Yeah, someone put you on the spot. Who's that one? What, a few of those authors that you're going, oh my god, they're gonna be there.
Well, like always, Sylvia Day.
Yeah,
because she's just like, right? Like she's just, I don't know. I am enamored with her. I'm trying to think of, well, always Megan Quinn. It's so nice because Megan Quinn, I was at a signing and my table was sort of near her so I could like watch her. And I'm like, okay, don't be creepy. Don't be creepy. Just smile. This is your job now. Just smile. But like her, I mean, it's just, I'm on the site. I'm looking at it and I just can't even, Abby Glines. I mean, all these books, all these people who their books saved me. Or do you know what? Their work made my life easier at a really hard time. I mean, there will always be a connection to those authors. They will. I mean, Kristen Proby. I mean, I don't know. I might be a whole hot mess. I better not hold those chocolates because I'll probably like jamming them in my mouth, Monica, because I'll be like anxiety eating.
Oh yeah, Krista, hold yourself together.
Stop yourself. Oh, for real. I mean, it's just, I mean, and that's sort of the other thing that like, I have to pinch myself every day. It's like, I get to be part of this community. Like, it's amazing. Yeah. Anyway, stop by my table. I'll be a hot mess so we can have a good old time.
She'll be fine. She'll be fine, folks. She'll be fine. Trust me. I also mentioned the charity. It's Julie's Friends, and it's going towards helping individuals who may not be able to afford some of the care for their pets. Unfortunately, we sometimes have to make those really hard decisions based on finances.
Oh yeah.
And we feel that we may not be able to provide them with the best kind of care, and then thus those hard decisions need to be made. And so Julie's Friends is the organization that Lisa Renee Jones and her husband Diego have created to help people not have to make those hard decisions immediately, and see, helping with the getting our fairy pets, our fairy kids, as I like to call them, healthier in a good point in life again. And so this whole thing with great authors, we have stories, we have narrators, we're helping pets and people with their pets. I love dogs and cats, so I'm all for it.
Oh yeah, we have two. Oh my gosh. So we adopted a rescue pup back in April, Huckleberry, and he is I know what a name, but he came with a name, like I can't even take in credit. But so anyways, amazing. We love Huckleberry. He's cattle dog. He's German Shepherd. He's high energy. And so a couple of months later, I'm like, oh, you guys, I think we need a smaller dog. Like we need like a little friend for Huckleberry. And so we went back to the same rescue, and that's where we found Rosie. And they're like, oh, Krista, you're going to love Rosie. She's going to be that smaller dog. We think she's Collie Spaniel. So I'm like, okay, that's great. So we get Rosie. We love Rosie. She's wonderful. We do the DNA. She's Great Dane.
Oh,
Great
shit.
She is already 85 pounds. So Huckleberry is about 50. Rosie is already like 85 pounds of like all dog. So we are like all about the animals, but it's true. Like there's some hard decisions that you have to make with like we had Bijans before. I mean, it's nice. It's just this signing is going to do a lot for people and pets.
I had no idea. One of our first puppies, we got him, and he was having trouble breathing like 3 days after we got him. So I waited, just like, I have to wait a certain amount of time before the insurance kicks in.
Yeah.
Yes.
I waited, and I was like he was supposed to be my emotional support animal to help with my anxiety. But I was like up all night every night with this dog, making sure he could breathe, like ready to give him mouth to mouth if he needed it. He was like a little fish out of water, and he would go like so I took him to the vet, and I said he's been having trouble breathing for like 3 days. And because I said that, it went a day before the cutoff, so they didn't cover anything. And I'm not kidding you, it cost us about $10,000. My whole savings went to this dog, and I kept thinking, like, what if we didn't have the money? And I was like, well, I could start like a GoFundMe, but that's embarrassing. Like, I don't want to ask.
No, it's hard.
It's hard.
You shouldn't have to be in that position. It's just
no, it's definitely when it comes down to pets, it's definitely a business sometimes. And I say the same thing when it comes down to human doctors. As someone that all my pets are rescue, and I like currently have 4 dogs and 2 cats, technically 4 because 2 of them are my sons. But mine are 2 cats, all rescue. And I remember my first dog, his name was Bailey. He was supposed to be a Chihuahua, a Maltese and Chihuahua mix. Ended up being that a mom must have had an affair with a corgi, because it's a Chihuahua corgi mix. So he had the long body with the big ears. He looked like a miniature German Shepherd. But within he was 8 weeks old, got him within 2 weeks of having him. Not even then, I'm rushing over to the vet hospital, and he's like, yeah, he has parvo. And I'm going, excuse me. And I had to look up what that was, because they were explaining it, and only 1% of puppies ever survive that. Right. Thank goodness for the care credit card. But if I didn't have it, right? And then he finally comes home, so he's good. And then he's home, no lie, less than a few hours. And I'm like, what the hell did you get into? His upper lip was all inflamed. And I'm like, Bailey. And so rush him back to the hospital. And they're like, so before we admit him and cost you significantly more money, it's probably an ant bite. So give him some Benadryl. And sure enough, it was fine. But I was like, that was hard, emotionally, financial. And then again, like I said, that was my first dog. And it doesn't stop when you have, pets and stuff. And it's a conversation people don't have. They're like, oh, great, dogs are great, cats are great. But as they get older, things get harder.
And they're so expensive.
Yeah, they are really expensive. And when you're trying to be that good parent and provide them with the most care and the most comfortable care, and the only thing stopping you is finance, having a charity like Julie's friend is one that alleviates a lot of the stress in our own day-to-day stuff, let alone caring for someone who could be there as your emotional support, but also as a family member, as many of us think of these individuals, furry kids is they're part of the family. They're not just a dog, they're our dog, and they're more than friends. So it's going to be a fun convention, going to a great cause. Like I said, there's going to be martinis with a couple panels. I know there's another one with margaritas and TL Swan. Oh, Sylvia Day is bringing donuts with TL Swan. And
I saw that.
Yeah.
I saw that. Sign me up, please.
I mean, when you go to a book event where you're with your besties and your other book friends, and then you have that like, oh my God, Kristen Ashley, yay. And you're like, but wait, there's more. And you get donuts and you get parties and you get panels and you get, narrators going and doing readings. And I'm like, ooh, hello, lover. And I'm like, there we go.
It really is such fun. It really is. It's like everybody coming together because narrators too, we kind of do our work on our own, like kind of in a vacuum, right? And then when we get to see each other, it's like all the phases of first it's like awkward, like, okay, are we as good of friends as I think we are?
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
like, okay, we're friends, right? Like we talk, I just was at a romance author mastermind and, you're just like, you see like name tags, you're like, okay, oh, hi. And you're like, wait, but you know me, right? And like, yes, everyone, but I mean, it's so nice. And then everyone is always so lovely. And then it's just, I don't know, it's a good time. It'll be a great time.
So, Monica, have you gone to a book convention before?
No, I never have.
Virgin. Oh, lovely.
And it's funny because like I don't know that many people. So my close friends, there is another narrator. I don't think she uses a pseudonym. I don't know. I'm very good friends with Hope Newhouse, who's in Paris, and she calls me Mudge because when we go to APAC, I don't like to go out to stuff. Kind of a homebody. And other friends have called me a hermit. So it's very like I have anxiety. So when I go into public, I'm like, oh, I don't know if I can do it. So I might be like hiding behind Krista.
Well, you now have me too. I mean, like, hello.
Thank you.
I'll be there. I mean, full disclosure, I mean, I'm the official podcaster, but I'm also working the event. So it's like, I know places where you can go relax. I got you.
Thank you.
It's that quiet room. Oh, yeah. Monica. Oh my God. Okay, we gotta.
Boom! It only took us an hour. It's okay.
All right.
I will say though, I did just go to the narrators retreat in Massachusetts, and I was terrified. And then I got there, and it was like, you're right. The community, it was like so welcoming, and so many people. Like the last 3 years have been so hard. You know everybody from online, but you don't really know them. So there was a lot of like, can I hug you? And it was like, of course. And then I'll never forget the third night I was spending time with, it was like the last night, and I was just drinking tea because I wanted to go to bed early and like get home. And we were out by this fire, and I was chatting with Annalise Rennie. That is her pseudonym, but she's the owner of Spectrum Audiobooks, I guess. And there was another narrator, Maria McCann, and she came up to me and she's like, what are you drinking? And I was like, tea. And she's like, no, you're not. Sauvignon Blanc. I was like, I do like Sauvignon Blanc. She comes back with a bottle. And the next thing I know, it's like 3 a.m. and I'm chatting with all these producers and publishers. And I was like, okay, yeah, I do need to do more of this. I do.
It's good peopling. I think that because you're a virgin in this lovely realm of us where a little of us have more experience, we can teach you. It's gonna be a little bit of that hustle bustling at first because people are excited. Like you said, a lot of us have not done anything in a couple of years. This will actually be my second event that I people in 3 years. The first one was Allure.
I was supposed to go to Allure, and then I got scared at the last minute and couldn't do it. I was like, I don't want to get COVID.
Yeah, it was fine, by the way. Thank you. No, if things happen, people drop off for a variety of reasons, and it's fine. But Allure was a lot of fun, and this one's going to be as much fun as ever, just because it's bigger. But that relationship that you built, I had one with Megan Price, and she was a guest on the podcast, and we totally hit it off, like the three of us right now. But she had never been, and so I tell her things about people are going to be bringing things to you signing. So Monica, you're going to be signing anything from T-shirts to Kindles to book covers to potential penises. And thank you. That was the exact same reaction they got. Like, she's like, what? I'm like, no, seriously, it's like a stuffed animal penis. And like I said, they've done everything. I had one author has a thing in her books and it's her gimmick as far as like maxi pads. Others have, blooming blossom's going to be there, by the way, and she's one of our vendors for the
Oh, I
event.
just saw that. Yeah.
And she does these roses and flowers, and I think she can do some that are more plain so people can sign it, or just lighter text and people sign it. So basically totes, anything can be signed, including a penis. And that's what I was telling her, and she was like shocked and completely like, no way. And I'm like, no, girl, seriously, it does happen. And she's like, I'm gonna get you a penis. I'm like, shut the fuck up, stop. And
walk around with a giant blow up.
No, not a giant blow up cock or anything, but it's the Allure, gala red carpet, which I'm hosting there, and I'm getting in people on camera. We're about to end, and I see her behind me, and I'm going, this could be good or this could be bad. And my husband's all smiling. I'm going, oh, they're up to something. He knows something. And lo and behold, she presents me with a penis stuffed animal, and she had signed, and I'm like, oh, you gave me your penis, yay! So it's sitting here in my office.
Did you say penis stuffed animal?
Yes, penis stuffed animal. Yes, I did. I may have to bring him with me to have some of y'all sign it as well. I have my one pillow that looks like an old-fashioned library card that I have the authors and the narrator. I have one for narrators and one for authors. Yes, super cute. And the double-sided, because you have to. And the date of the event is the date that you're quote unquote checking out, and then the signature of the individual. But now I have a penis. And I'm gonna be like, hey, sign my penis. It's gonna be hilarious.
That's the other thing, honestly, is how it's an open, inclusive, for the most part, right? Community. And I do love that.
Yeah.
I do love that. So let me just tell you right now, on Etsy, you could get a crochet pecker penis stuffer.
Yes, you can.
That is oh my gosh, or giant ones. Listen.
Yeah, I'll show you a picture of it after we air, and I'll be sure to post it on the page when this thing officially gets published and stuff like that at the landing page. Y'all can see my stuffed penis that Meg Price gave me. It's adorable. But you can get anything. I mean, there's been regular pillowcases. I know that the event might have some merchandise that we'll be announcing soon with our logo on it. But yeah, if you're going to this event or any event, it's just the right time now to start looking for things to get people signed. And
that is a great idea, for real. That's a cute idea. Because I've signed like picture, like not the picture itself, but like the border. I've had lots of readers come with so cute. And then you can see, like, by the end of the convention, I mean, it is just adorable. It's just so creative.
Others have also done almost like photo books with the covers and the name of the author, or like they had the name of the author and the narrator on the bottom, almost like a yearbook concept, but just like 1 or 2 books per page. And then when they go to you as the author, they will find your page, like literally like back in the day in yearbook time, and you would sign it. And so they just then have something on the bookshelf to keep the, all that fun stuff. So lots of different options as what you can do to bring for the event. I'm just excited to be able to meet you guys in person, and I'm a hugger, so feel free to hug.
I'm a hugger too. I'm a crier as well. I'm a hugger and a crier, and a sort of a sweater, like an inappropriate sweater. I don't know how. I'm gonna need to get like some sort of like dermatological treatment before I go. But I get like hot and nervous, but I also like to hug. And I guess
so we need to talk about that, because it's a romance convention. We're gonna also have thrillers, so maybe you'll fit more into that category for mystery and mystery and thriller, sci-fi maybe too. Right? It's a dual convention, but yeah, I gotta bring the sexy with you too, girl. Gotta bring the sexy with you.
Yeah, for real. No, it's exciting.
Yeah.
It's
otherwise, I'm gonna get with Monica. I'm behind you, and like, okay, Monica, narrate the scene. Narrate it as she's sitting there perspiring.
And anxiety sweat coats her lips. Like, oh my God. Anyway, but the fun thing, it's like I'm always nervous, and then I get there, and then it's terrific. It's almost like the buildup is like, and then you're yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
I think that was my point when I was saying like that I was chatting with all those people, and yes, the Sauvignon Blanc did help, but it was like all of a sudden it was like there's nothing to be nervous about. Everybody is so nice, and it is such an inclusive, the authors and the narrators and even the casting people, just so open and very different than other parts of the acting and
I hear that a
entertainment
lot.
industry. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Can I share with you guys the fact that Krista sends me her books signed, which I get really excited about, and these little care packages. And you sent me this. Is it an aquamarine stone?
Yes, it's from Nanny and the Beefcake. Yeah.
And I held it throughout my record, and I'm holding it right now because I was nervous. So I'm like playing with it.
Yeah.
And how cool is that?
Bonus coolness, aquamarine is my birthstone.
Oh, is it? So that's supposed to bring balance. It's, like that to have that as your birthstone is a real gift, to be born under that sign.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Yeah. No, I love care packages. I love, like, I used to go to summer camp when I was a little girl, and not a little girl, I was a teenager. But oh my gosh, like when we would get like packages with, trying to think of the name, there's Salsa Pepperidge Farm. Like if someone's mom went above and beyond and sent Pepperidge Farm cookies, like that was a big deal. Like we'd open them and like, I don't even know if we really even knew about it. Those kind, like that was not, I grew up in Kansas and I went to summer camp in Maine. So like a lot, like I didn't even know what Ben and Jerry's for the first time. I know. I mean, like I had Ben and Jerry's for the first time on Monhegan Island. Like it was like the most New England experience ever. But yeah, so I love care packages, and I love like sending, and like it's so fun to send it to you. Or Monica, oh my gosh.
You're fired. You're
fired.
I'm writing another sticky note. Anyways, yeah. No, those stones. And I believe in the power of just that kind of, believing.
Wait, Monica, when you're holding the stone, do you feel more relaxed? Do you feel it? Or
Totally. Totally. Yeah, I love it.
Yeah. I'm currently holding a malachite. So it's so funny that you mentioned that. That's why I was like, oh my God, I'm holding a malachite.
Yeah.
I actually started wearing smoky quartz around like on my necklace. Well, I used to work in a restaurant, and one of the managers was like, girl, you need some crystals, because I'm super sensitive. I think that most people with anxiety, a lot of actors, like one of my coaches recently said, have you been diagnosed as like what's it called? What is it? Highly sensitive person?
Oh.
Have you guys heard of that?
Yes.
So I attribute my narration to being that sensitive. Like I just feel everything. Yeah. So having the crystal, I mean, even if it's just a distraction or it's just the idea of it working, it cools me down and I just relax.
That makes me so happy.
Yeah, and you sent her that care package without even knowing that stuff, right?
Well,
there were so many cool things in it. There were hair ties, and there was chapstick, which is in my booth. I was just listening to your podcast with Scott Brick, and I haven't listened to the narrator yet, but they were talking about like,
so good. It's so good.
Like the things we do when what is it called? Like your, people have sacred morning rituals, but like narrators have as you go into your booth, and writers. Do you have a writing ritual, Krista, to get you going?
Yeah, I do. I have to do this sort of list, and then I walk around my table counterclockwise. It's like, I don't know if I just like to. I get to kind of see. I walk, I think, and then I sit, which might be OCD. I don't clean though. God help me. I mean, my people would like it if I did, but yeah, I think so, because I think it's like it's like a comfort, right? Like it's just like, okay, I can be safe, because what we do, and this is the hard thing, that like if you're you really have to be in the right headspace to do any kind of creative job. It's it's not like like sometimes you're not like making a widget and you can be having like a breakdown but still making the widget. So I feel like those rituals or the stones or just even like the meditation, it just gets you where you need to be.
Yes, the meditation helps immensely. And you sent me a chapstick in that box, and it had your branding on it. So when I was
head,
recording these
just tell him, Monica, my big head is on it.
Well, I also have your sippy cup. Oh my gosh. So I would like have my water in the cup you sent me and the chapstick, and I'd be like, I am going to become Krista's voice in this book.
Oh,
And it totally like it was so fun, and it really did help.
Oh,
That's so nice. I love that. It's the little things, and having those rituals are so important too, because amazingly enough, sometimes just the one thing out of whack, you're like, I can't do it, and you're done for the day. You kind of start all over and wait. So
I know. And I mean, having teenagers, I have a teenager. Oh my God, there are just days where I'm walking counterclockwise quite a few times. Just keep walking.
yeah, they're like, do you not see the signs? Well, I have one narrator friend that actually has like a red light. I think her booth is in the basement area, and in the kitchen area, which is above her, there's a red light. If that light is on and red, it means he's recording, and that means no walking, no noise, not a sound. Yeah.
That's
when I first started, I was just in a room. It was like I had a desk, and I would shut the door, and I'll never forget. It was like one of the third days I was working, and my husband, so sweet, knocked on the door with like a tray full of snacks. And I turned around and bit his head off so hard. And he now knows, he's like, I'm never interrupting you again. And I'll be like, I'm going in quiet like a mouse time. Okay. Just text me if you need something.
Yeah.
It was only one time.
It's true. Especially like, there's just times where you just don't want to be disturbed. Like I'll hear like them walking, or I'll hear them like coming down the stairs, and then I'm like, no, like I'm not that mother I thought I was gonna be. I'm not her. I'm like, what? And I'm
you
like,
just get in the zone. Nobody can come in when I'm in the zone.
Yeah. And it's a hard zone too, because I mean, I'm trying to, like, when I'm writing some notes or catching up on something, and they just start talking, and I'm like, 1 minute please, and lift up the finger, and I'm like, let me finish. And or when I'm sending text messages with information, and they see me pacing back and forth, and then they start talking like, do you not see me pacing? Do you not see my hands going like, people, stop, let me finish the thought. So
I used to drive, like sometimes I used to drive, and I also like have to pee all the time. I have like a tiny bladder. So I would drive in my car to a park where there was like a porta potty, and I would like write in my car, but it's so funny. And then I would be like, do I need that porta potty? I do not need that porta potty. So but that is what I would do. I would sit in my car, and I'm sure like the police in our area are like, what is she doing? What is that woman doing sitting there? Why is she walking to the porta potty? Anyway.
I need to get you some stickers that say, I'm an author and I'm writing a story. Put it on the window there.
Writing a book.
I have a teenager, that should be enough.
Yes, yeah. God help us. It should be a real.
Yeah.
But yeah.
All right. So the two of you are constantly surrounded by words, whether you're writing them or you're saying them. What's your favorite word? Now, mind you, different from a favorite curse word. That's the second part of this question.
Oh, I love the word salad. And I only say that because I write a lot of rom-coms, and when my alpha reader was like, whenever the character gets like garbled, or the guy is like blowing her mind in some way, and like this word salad, this verbal vomit, I just like word salad. So nice. I write a lot of word salad.
I love when you say, like, you'll say something like, that word salad just came out of my mouth, and I'm like, yes, it did. That was a word salad.
Yes.
All those words.
I've never heard of the term before, so now I'm borrowing it.
Well, that I don't know. It just, for me, it just paints such a picture, right? It's just like, blah, 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 like that.
That's a tough one. I love words. I get my word of the day every day. I love vocabulary. Merriam-Webster is like my favorite person ever. Is she actually a person?
I don't know, but she's she's a woman to me too, and she's snarky and she's smart, right?
She knows everything.
Yes.
And she knows the correct pronunciation, so I probably spend more time with her than anyone else because I check everything. But and I'll get my word of the day. I think my favorite word is eloquent. I've never thought of that before.
Yeah.
But the first word that popped into my head is, it's not a word, it's a name, I guess. It's 2 words. Douche canoe.
Oh!
The first time I ever heard it was in Krista's, was it Man Fast? Or Man?
I love douche canoe. I probably douche canoe in everything I write. So probably Man Fast.
I think did I put it on a coffee mug for you? I think in the beginning I was sending all my authors coffee mugs with their cover and like the quote. And I was gonna do one for each book, but I don't think it happened.
I'm looking at the mug. I have the mug, but I don't think it says douche canoe. You probably were like, I probably should not put douche canoe on a mug, but
no,
I might
now
have had that
we're taking to Denver. Get it to her in Denver.
It's like in my list of to-dos that I'll get to one day. But I probably said to my husband, like, I don't know her that well. Do you think her family would be okay if she had? We did have this conversation. Would they be okay if I gave her a mug that said douche canoe on it?
I love the word douche canoe.
So
I
great.
love like ass hattery. I just love like clever ways of calling somebody a jerk or like that.
So what are your favorite, what's your favorite curse word then?
I use that F word all the time, much to my mother's chagrin.
I know, me too.
It gets across the emotion needed.
Well, like when things are just crazy, it's absolute fuckery, right? Like there's no better way to just like what are we doing with this fuckery?
I love lately what the ever-loving fuck. I say that a lot. Yeah. What the ever-loving fuck is wrong with these people?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. I do like that.
I also love how you say it.
Right? She sounds so good.
Yeah. I don't read reviews at all because when I started, I got some really, really mean ones, and being as sensitive as I am, I can't read them. So, Krista, if you ever see, like, it's important for narrators to know what listeners are saying. Like, if there's something recurring, you can let me know. But somebody said that I said curse words funny. And I was like, what does that mean? I curse all the time. I've actually gotten in trouble a bit for cursing. So I was like, what does that mean? But I do. They're like, I put an extra like fuck. It's like almost a New Yorker. I think it probably comes from my parents. I'd be so proud.
I love your cursing voice.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah.
You know my least favorite word, and I wish that authors would stop using it because I have a very hard time saying it, is Google.
Google.
Like, I mean, it's a word, it's a title, I guess, but when you say I Googled it, it's like I can't get it out of my mouth.
Googled it. That is a weird one.
Google.
Yeah. Or then you're person else. I'm Googling it. It's like Google.
Monica, do you remember when we were like gala? Like it's so funny how and I didn't even know. You're like, how did you hear it in your head? I'm like, shoot, I don't even know. Yeah. What do you say? What gala? What did we decide? I can't remember.
I don't know. And I say it, I try to keep it the same.
Yeah.
Do it in a book, but sometimes I say it differently. And also the room you walk into when you first walk into somebody's house.
Foyer.
I always said foyer.
And
I recently changed it to foyer. I don't know.
We have to ask Merriam-Webster. She will know.
Yeah, I was watching a couple of videos. I got some cookies from Lisa for the holidays, and from Jolly Belly, or Jelly Belly is the one that ships the stuff, and the cookies. And they have food from all over the place. And my husband, being from Connecticut, is the one thing he's like, I miss the Connecticut pizza. And so I was looking at the top pizza joints over there in Connecticut to see how much it would cost to ship him a pizza. And there was this one video from a very famous eatery up there, Suparti's the Pizza. And they were talking about the mozzarella cheese, and they were going they called it like 3 different things. And one of them was eating the last A, and they're going mozzarella.
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 So funny?
And muzza.
My mom, I worked in a restaurant and I was taught to say mozzarella, but I grew up saying mozzarella. It's mozzarella. And my mom gets so mad at me when I say, I have to go get mozzarella. She's mozzarella. It's the mozzarella.
Yeah,
Or
see,
mozz.
or mousse. Yeah, that's what they were doing. And I'm going, it's mozzarella. So I'm like, you can still put the Italian accent behind it. But I was like, I was having that moment of like, mozzarella. There's an L right there. So pronunciation is so variant depending on
Not
who,
if you're Italian.
That's true.
Where is he from in Connecticut?
Hartford.
Okay.
Yeah.
I went to UConn.
Oh, see, you guys are gonna get along great at the conference. Yeah, no, it's Saparti's is the pizza place. They were there, and Sally's was another one. The one that wasn't on the list, which I was like, how is Jimmy's a pizza not on this list? So I'm about to I call my uncle. I'm like, Jimmy, how is the Jimmy's a pizza not on this list? Come on. Great food up Northeast, but still. So thanks for sharing those words with us. It's you definitely need to have the douche canoe mug created though. So,
I know.
I love that word.
Douche canoery.
Yeah.
I know. We'll make a mug. We're good.
Perfect. Yeah, totally. I have a Cricut. We can do it.
Your kids are older now, so it's okay. Right?
Yeah.
They're
for sure.
But honestly, I mean, of all the freaking words we could have used, douche canoe is the least offensive. I mean, come on.
It really is.
It's such a douche canoe.
I don't like C-U-N-T. I don't like that. I don't like it.
It's a British thing.
Yeah.
I dated a British guy at one point, so I'm like immune. It doesn't bother me at all.
Yeah, it doesn't bother me. I will say that if it comes out of my mouth, I'm pissed, and you may need to run.
Yeah, that's a
P word.
Like kitty cat?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that.
I don't like that one either.
Yeah.
Anyway,
sometimes it can be overdone in books too, or when they get very creative for the vagina. But that's a different conversation we'll have at a different podcast episode. Or maybe we'll do a live Instagram there, right, Krista?
Yeah, all right. Listen,
you know, okay, people. So
exactly.
We'll do a fun afterwards, or at the convention. We'll get together, do a couple of minutes here and there.
We can just like show each other naughty words, and then we can like rate them with cards, right?
Yes.
Like, that is a 4 for a 4.2. We can be like that Romanian judge at a gymnastics meet.
Yes. That's a 0. No, that's a no good.
Oh, and Monica all right, let's start again. Monica can do her Eastern European voice.
That accent, like it's really I gotta be honest, I don't think it's Eastern European.
It's exactly what I had in my head. I don't care. It is because we say it is.
Perfect.
Okay, I hope the listeners agree.
The author said it was okay, all right, people. That's what.
Right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's totally fine that you keep messing up my name. I actually have a few different pseudonyms, and when I first started out, I only had one, and I was hiding because the stuff that I was narrating was like so sexy, and like 50 Shades of Sexy, and I was also doing some violent stuff, not like sexually violent, but like guns and self-defense. So I had all these different pseudonyms, and I used to work at a restaurant where a very famous writer for television and movies would come in, and I would chat with him, and I would get nervous when I chatted with him. I never told him I was an actress, but one day he asked what I was up to, and my witty retort was, I'm just waiting for you to write me out of here. And he was like, what? And it got very uncomfortable, and I quickly said, oh, I've been narrating a lot of audiobooks. And he was like, really? I tried to do that once. It's so hard. And he's like, well, what have you narrated? Can I listen to it? And I couldn't tell him because I wasn't like, I'm not going to tell you what this pseudonym is. But that's why I created Monica, because the stuff that I narrate as Monica, I'm happy to say, you know, I meet people and I say, oh, my romance pseudonym is Monica King. So it's okay that you're slipping.
Oh my gosh.
It's okay.
You would think if you could see what I'm seeing, there are 4 sticky notes that say
Take
Monica.
a picture.
Monica, I will take a picture.
Take a picture so we can see it. But I mean, again, I said at the very beginning before officially recording, this is why I don't do lives interviews, because aside from the stuff that may come out of everybody's like the walls come down when they're talking to me, but also the whole thing with the cinema's very protective. But it happens, and that's why we have an edit button. Unlike Twitter, who doesn't have an edit button, we do, so it's fine.
You just put like beeps in, because she says it really quickly too.
I do, and I catch myself. I'm like my own censor. I'm like, well, that's what. So when I decided that I wanted to become an author, like finding a name is super important, and that's why Sandor is my maiden name, and that's my grandma Sandor, who loves romance. So anyways, that's why I went that route, because I just, as you can tell, I can't like remember to use. And I mean, I've signed some books with my married name, like my mom. I'm like, I'm sorry. Do you care? Do you want me to cross it out? Can I get you new book? You know, people are. It is. I think it'd be, for me at least, it would be hard to have a totally different name. I had to keep it. I don't know. Keep it close. Otherwise, I would just be a mess, as you can tell.
Yeah, I had thought about that a few years ago. I'm like, I probably should have started doing a lot of this stuff under a different name. I'm like, but I like my name too much. I'm like, nah, I'm good.
That's a good name. That is a great name.
Thanks. Yeah, I'm like, people will find out. They'll figure it out. And then when you meet me, or if you're online talking like Krista and I did via DM or at events and stuff like that, you get me. You know, it is what it is. So it's true. Speaking of learning and discussing and discovering each other, stuff like that, one thing I love to do with our guests is to play the game of 2 truths and a lie. So we're going to tag team. So tell me I'm not playing by myself. Y'all stop thinking dirty. Anyways, Monica and I are going to tag team here. Krista, can you tell us what your 2 truths and a lie is? And then we'll have to guess what it is.
Okay. So let's do you want me to go truth, or just like say it out loud?
Just give us our 3 things and we'll try to figure out which one's the lie.
Okay. I met Diana Gabaldon, the Outlander writer, in a bathroom. Next is I'm in a calendar. The next one is my grandparents hate romance.
All right, Monica.
Ooh, I know that you're in a calendar. So that is true.
Okay.
I guess I'm gonna go with the lie as the grandparents.
Yeah, I was gonna say too, because potential as far as meeting Deborah. Then again, she specifically said bathroom, and that's where I've learned sometimes it's all in the details. It could be that she met her, but it could have been like at a craft store. You know what I mean? But you think the grandparents
crocheting aisle,
right? As he's finding patterns for the new kilt for the next book. But you're saying the grandparents is a lie. Monica?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna go the same way. I'm gonna go with Monica here.
Oh, you guys are right.
Yes.
My grandma Sandor, and I already brought her up and I use her name, but she lived for romance. She had all those great Harlequins, a huge bookcase in her house, just like one of those bookcases that you just see and it just makes you feel all warm and fuzzy, because it's just like crammed with all romances. And my cousin and I would pull out the books, and the pictures were amazing. Like the covers were just like out of this world, like the Penny Jordans.
Yeah.
And then I would take the book and I would hide and I would look for naughty parts.
Okay.
That was
that with Danielle Steele books.
Oh, right. Like, I mean, she was unapologetic in how much she loved romance. And anytime I would spend the night, I would wake up and she would always be up and she'd be sitting at her table, and she was a smoker, and she'd have her cigarette and she'd have a romance novel and she would be just reading away. And I'd be just, I don't know. It breaks my heart. She passed away a while ago, but I believe that somewhere in this universe and her energy and my energy, and just, I think she just loves it that I'm doing as Krista Sandor. So
yeah, I know, that's awesome. I'm sure she's like, yes, my girl.
She's like, dirty that up, honey. Dirty it up. Throw in a few C words and P words. Why don't you add another guy in there? What's going on? Anyway.
Grandma Sandor.
Good old Grandma Sandor. Yeah.
All right, Krista, it's me and you against Monica here now.
Okay, let's
All
go,
right.
Monica.
All right, Monica, tell us your three things.
Okay. I hate chocolate. When I was in college, I took singing as an elective, and the dean at UConn, when I did my final performance, asked where I was hiding. And I played the guitar.
Okay. And what do you think, Krista?
I don't know how anyone can hate chocolate. I'm having a hard time with that. Like my heart is like, that cannot be true.
Totally ruins your plan of walking with chocolate behind her if that's the case, though.
Right.
So
I have to get
modify that. Yeah, yeah, that's true.
ear snaps or something.
Mm-hmm.
You can sing, right, Monica?
Mm-hmm.
I made those all up right on the spot.
Well, yes. Someone did.
You're good.
Could you
You're
tell?
good now.
Because I was really stalling. Okay. Yeah. What do you think? What's true? What's a lie?
I'm going chocolate. I can't believe in a world that you could hate chocolate.
I'm gonna say he plays the guitar.
Oh, okay.
Are those your final answers?
I think so.
I actually do hate chocolate, and it's my favorite one to throw out in this game. And it's also what I say to people when they're like, this reviewer hated me. I'm like, yeah, but I hate chocolate, and that doesn't mean that you're bad.
Yeah.
Everybody loves chocolate. Threw that in. Then I do not play guitar. I played cello for 10 years, but I never could play guitar. My fingers couldn't get in the right place.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What do you eat? Okay, she's stuck
on that. What do you mean you don't like chocolate?
I'm not okay. So if you want something sweet, what do you go for?
Gummy candy.
Oh, those are good.
I had to stop because I got way too many cavities. So right now, you know what? I will say my coach sent me this. It's it has a little chocolate and almonds, and it's what's that candy? It's like a score bar, I think.
Oh, those are good. Well, unless you don't like chocolate.
Well, this is the first time that I'm like, you know what? That tastes actually amazing, and I can't stop eating it. But I've never liked chocolate before. What do I eat? I like potato chips lately.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not. I love bagels and pizza. That's I don't even eat ice cream.
What?
I'm not fun. But somehow, I just went to Athleta yesterday. Thank you, COVID. I'm not going to tell you the sizes, but I went up 4 sizes. Who does that?
I do.
We all do.
It's been
being a woman.
Yes.
I don't know what from. It's the pizza. Sorry. Go on.
Oh no, I think it's one of those and you'll hear me say it. I'm like, oh look, a bakery. Smells divine. I just gained 5 pounds just by smelling it. So it's fine. Yeah. So what we're gonna have to do, Krista, is what we should do is bring our favorite top of the line chocolates that we like to the convention and have her taste it.
And then just have a shitty bag of gummy bears if she doesn't like it, just to make her happy.
Well, because I think what it is, that's one of the things I learned when in culinary school is that people that don't like chocolate, sometimes because it just could be the kind of chocolate that they've experienced, not realizing that there's such a variety of potential chocolate. It just could be that, you got into a bad batch, or the kind that you're eating is not what you like. You might like them darker. You might like them more milky. I mean, so many options.
Well, that's stuff that
I wish my life would be so much nicer if I didn't like chocolate. Honestly, I'd probably be a nicer person. I wouldn't be thinking about chocolate all the time, but
we'll have some fun and we'll figure out if maybe that it could. But if she doesn't like chocolate, there's so many other different things that she can from a sweet perspective. I mean, I have some tres leches in my refrigerator calling my name.
My husband just made pound cake cookies over Christmas. So we chose this so I wouldn't decide to eat the tray. I'm like, okay, I can totally. They were so delicious. Maybe I think I just like food. I mean, we all need vices, right? But we can make some pound cake cookies. And my husband is such a good cook. That was the gift of COVID, was that he was home more and enjoys cooking. He's just like the things he bakes. He made this cornbread from scratch. I mean, it was like, anyways,
Nice.
I don't even know who I'm married to anymore, but I'll take it. I'll take it all.
Yeah, I'm not a cook.
No,
What
me
do
neither.
I eat? I'm very boring when it comes to food and desserts.
We'll fix her up.
Yeah, we'll fix her up. Yeah, it'll happen. Yeah. But don't feel bad. I didn't have my first pepperoni pizza until I was 19. I had my first salad at 19. My mom was one that did never force us to eat any food. If we said we didn't like it, we didn't have to try it or anything, because she was forced to eat it and things like, octopus and fishes and exotics and stuff like that. So she never forced us, but I missed out on things that I liked and learning. And then until I met my husband, and you're smack down at a holiday luncheon in the office at the FIU campus, and he's sitting in front of you and you're going, I don't want to order out of the kids menu. Kind of my peer, and I'm like, what can I order? And they're like, just get the fettuccine Alfredo. I'm like, okay, I'll have it. That was the first time I've ever had it.
Wow.
Loved it. Yeah. So yeah, it's okay. You learn, you grow. Now I love mushrooms and broccoli and all that other fun stuff. Do not give me mayo though. I don't like it. I'll make the mayo, but I won't. No.
Yeah, I'm still not sold on that either.
Yeah. Well, guys, this has been so much fun. And thank you for being part of this threesome today. It's been such a blast.
Thank you.
It has. Thank you so much for having us.
Yeah. Before we officially go, though, I want you guys to tell me what's going on work-wise for you. Like, what's coming up next that you can share?
So I have a novella coming out in January called Mistletoe Love Match. And then I will be at the signing, March, April, and then a big release in June. So that's what is coming up right now. Just writing away, sort of living in a great living with the characters right now, which I love.
Nice. Have you come back in June for that great release? Is it coming out in audio as well?
I need to talk with Monica, who
Oh. Yeah, send it over, and I'll just fit it in when I can.
I know, you're so good.
I'm so overwhelmed I'm really excited. I am working a lot right now. I don't want to give you details because I honestly don't know who's doing it, and I don't know if it's out yet, and it is through a publisher, so I don't get to talk to the author, but it's a thriller.
Nice.
And it's my first thriller, so it's like, it feels really different, but it's like, the reason I chose Monica King is I love Stephen King. I never thought I had the right voice for it. I always thought like you had to sound like Hillary or like, so I'm really excited about that and nervous.
That's so awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I bet the pacing is different? Is the like different than romance to do a thriller? I would think it might be.
No. I mean, I think it's, if you were to do like a romantic suspense when there's always that dun dun dun. I think that the trick of it all is, and Monica, tell me if it's true or not, is trying not to spoil it in how you act it out to give it the obvious he's the bad guy. He's the one that did it, or they did it,
Yes.
The red herring. Like, I didn't even really know what that meant. I started, because as soon as I got the book, I was like, okay, I need a new coach. I need a thriller coach. And she's like, okay, who's the red herring? And I'm like, what's that? Do you know what that is?
Yeah. Oh, it's like when they try to throw you off. Yeah. Like, oh, okay, it's the baker. Yeah. It's got to be the baker because he's constantly,
baking.
Yeah. It's kind of silly. It's a little embarrassing that I didn't know what it was, but now my big joke with my husband is like, I'll use it wrong. Like, we were watching some show and I'm like, she's the red herring. And it totally is not. But it's like my funny, like, I don't know what it means. No, I do know what it means. And yes, you're not supposed to give it away too soon.
Which is hard because you in romance, sometimes you pick the tones based off of the characteristics. If they're always happy-go-lucky, you're gonna talk really, really fast. And oh my God, if they're assholes, you're gonna be a little, slower, and you're such a dick. But in thrillers and in other areas too, where there's that suspense moment, you can't always go with that, because then you're giving it away. I'm the girl that will figure out, like, when I'm horrible when watching, movies like this, because I know who did it.
Yeah.
I can figure it out. In audiobooks is a little different because you only get the voice as the hint versus visual clues. But that's where I think, and again, Monica as the expert here, you know, I think that's where the biggest difference is, not making it so like dun 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 obvious.
And the other thing that is new for me, and honestly, I feel like I'm always learning and I am always coaching and always open to feedback. When it's a first person, so they're typically first person, and Krista's are third person close or third person deep, the narrator.
Yep.
That's what she said. Sorry.
I just wanted to make sure you got that in, Vivi. Yes.
Thanks.
So you had the opera set you up for that.
Thanks.
There's more breathing. So like if it's a scene where like I am trying to escape something, like it's okay to be like on their recording, which feels really weird to me because historically I try to hide as much breathing as possible. Does that sound right?
Yeah. No, because there's probably a lot of like running and adrenaline and like yeah. And that's what, because I love those Tana French books, and for the life of me, I cannot remember the guy who narrates them, but you're absolutely right. There's definitely more because it ramps up fast, right? And yeah.
And I'm terrible with names, and I'm like blanking on his name, the co-narrator. So I've already did the first book in the series, and the co-narrator, I was like, can you just send me, and he's fabulous. He sent me a sample of what he was going to do. He was amazing. And he sent me his sample of the killer, and it was terrifying. I was like, oh my God, that is so scary. You're scary. I get easily scared with these books. So yeah, Krista, send me the Sebastian guarantee. That will be my reprieve.
Right. It'll be all bubbly and cotton candy. So
yeah.
That's good. I'm looking forward to it. You'll have to make sure that once you can share that you post it on social media.
Yes.
Yeah. And there's also going to be a bunch of really good thriller authors over at Readers Take Denver. So I'm sure we'll get to meet a couple of new ones there that might potentially become clients at one point or another. So yeah. Well, again, guys, this has been such a blast. And a great way to end the Friday for us here, that as far as the day that we're recording it, but also it's going to land on a Friday that's published anyway, so perfect timing. So great way for a Friday and the start of a great weekend. Thank you guys so much again for being my guest and hanging out with me. It's been so much fun.
Thank you so much.
Pizza.
Yeah, I'm gonna go eat some chocolate.
Nice, great. If you're not following them on social media, do not waste a second. Grab those links. You can find them over at the episode's landing page at Viviana Enchantress of Books. And until next time, happy listening.
Thank you to all of our Audiobook Lovin Podcast Patreon. Special thanks to Nixley Zenner, Carol Liebner, Brittany Robinette Leiter, Michelle Bastard,
Brandy Schmidt, April Branson.
The Audiobook Lovin Podcast has special Patreon access levels. Join today to receive benefits including early access to episodes, shout-outs, special exclusive content, and much more. Support the podcast by becoming a Patreon at www.patreon.com/audiobookloving. We thank you for your support.
Thank you for joining us on the Audiobook Lovin Podcast, hosted by Viviana, Enchantress of Books. For links and more information discussed in today's episode, previous podcasts, or the Audiobook Lovin Series, please visit our website, vivianaenchantressofbooks.com. If you enjoyed today's episode, please leave a positive review wherever you listen to our podcast. Until next time, happy listening.